Hello, I'm Nicole Segnini in the WFT newsroom for Monday, October 31st. Here's your news in 90.
Nicole Segnini, WUFT News.
From the UF campus, Nicole Segnini, WUFT News. Participants have been setting up since 8 a.m. in the morning to participate in this 90-year-old UF tradition. Something that's been growing in communities all over Florida is the use of the EBT cards for SNAP recipients, using these tokens to pay for their fresh food. The Marion County Sheriff's Office is currently investigating the incident, but they want to stress to the public that they're safe because they believe it's an isolated incident. Elijah never thought that he would actually find someone that could be his best friend for the rest of his life. Although many residents weathered the storm out here in their tents, Grace Marketplace provided a shelter for countless individuals that otherwise wouldn't have been so lucky. Disaster survivors come to a recovery center, check with FEMA, and then they get a checklist with different agencies that they can go to speak so they can further their recovery from the disaster.
West Marion Community Hospital is expanding again after adding 2,000 rooms last year. The new expansion will bring 3,000 more, plus other improvements. Construction will start sometime next week with a parking lot expansion.
Nicole Segnini, WUFT News.
Not a lot is publicly known about it, but from the bottom line is one man is dead and another in critical condition.
It was 6 yesterday evening when Bernie Beltran heard gunshots coming from the house behind his.
About 2 minutes after, 3 minutes after, I heard about 4 or 5, maybe 6. So that's why I realized that something was going on. Suddenly I heard like the ambulance coming in and things like that.
Marion County deputies arrived about 10 minutes after the 911 calls. They found 3 men in the home. One was dead, and of the 2 injured, one arrived at the hospital in critical condition.
He moved here to this neighborhood about 10 years ago, and it's basically very quiet neighborhood. So we were surprised that this happened close to us.
One witness heard shouts before the gunfire.
I heard the word FU, and then like about 5-second span between that's when the gunshots ran out. I was by the window and it was kind of dark outside, but you could see the image and you could see the traces coming from the gunfire.
Bill Jones says he saw shots being fired from outside the house and gunfire returned toward a vehicle which sped off. Neighbors say the people at the home moved in only 3 or 4 months ago.
It's been in and out, rented.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office is currently investigating the incident, but they want to stress to the public that they're safe because they believe it's an isolated incident.
At this point in time, we're not searching for any other suspects. We're conducting an active investigation at this time, and we don't believe there's any other immediate danger to the community.
There's no word yet on any possible motive for the shooting.
We now know the name of the man found dead on the scene. He's been identified as 37-year-old Marcus Lee Rodriguez. Investigators tell me they're now looking for a Ford pickup with the tag 6276HE. Anyone who spots it asks to call the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Sydney, Maggie, it's been a week full of homecoming festivities, including the pageant and Soul Fest. Earlier today, the homecoming parade started the family fun.
The UF Homecoming Parade is a tradition that brings the community together. Before the parade starts, the school puts on different events to get people ready for homecoming. The morning festival at the Plaza of the Americas is now one of them. The family-friendly event keeps people entertained while waiting for the parade to start.
It's a celebration of the start of classes, and everyone's invited to have a good time and show their cheer for the Gator Nation.
Another morning event is the Gator Gallop, a 2-mile fun run around campus.
My kids all started as little wee ones coming and sitting on the side, and now they're big ones.
She says UF will always have a special place in their hearts. Around noon, the homecoming parade floats were almost ready to start their own show. With University Avenue shut down, thousands of people were ready to watch the parade.
Participants have been setting up since 8 a.m. in the morning to participate in this 90-year-old UF tradition.
The parade featured over 150 floats, from high school bands to different student organizations to Gainesville business and community groups.
I think it means a lot that all of us come together. It shows togetherness in our community of unity and love and tradition.
The festivities are an opportunity for everyone to celebrate together.
Next up on the agenda is Gator Growl. There will likely be more than 10,000 people here at Flavitt Field this evening. The pep rally with its lineup of concerts starts at 6 o'clock.
To play soccer, breathing has to be second nature. But for 19-year-old Elijah Thomas, that isn't easy. Yet, every Friday he runs and plays, something doctors once thought it would be impossible for him to do.
His heart was beating, but he was not breathing when he was born, and they had to resuscitate him at birth, and he actually had a seizure.
Elijah has a type of cerebral palsy caused by seizures he had when he was born. He spent 2 weeks in the hospital.
See, he really couldn't even sit up very well.
His family was told he would need to be fed through a tube.
His private physical therapist says Elijah should have never walked.
But that didn't stop Elijah. Not only he's walking, but he's running and kicking a soccer ball.
He was 7 years old. We did a special therapy program, and his goal that summer was to walk 100 steps because he wanted to play soccer. He managed to do 72 steps without falling.
Wow, that's great.
It was. It was a great summer that year.
Elijah was 11 years old when he started going to Top Soccer.
The outreach program for soccer, it is the program that reaches out to kids who have some special needs who may not be able to play in a normal, well-bodied little league.
Participants and volunteers say the program is not only about soccer, but about giving the kids the opportunity to have a great time in a safe environment.
We're also developing maybe language skills or maybe some high-functioning motor skills.
Thanks to his determination, he's been able to run faster, have a better coordination, and even catch the ball as a goalie.
But Elijah never thought that he would actually find someone that could be his best friend for the rest of his life.
Two friends get to hang out with each other instead of like just a volunteer coming to spend time with someone who needs it.
Matt is a student at the University of Florida who enjoys volunteering at Chance and Top Soccer on a regular basis.
Matt just kind of came up to him and they hit it off.
It was such a great connection that Elijah invited Matt to his East High School graduation last year.
I don't know like what Top Soccer would be for me like without him, because like hanging out with him is all I pretty much know with Top Soccer.
They both encourage each other to grow every day. Elijah, who was once told he would be living off a feeding tube, is now training to get a job and take a bus.
Elijah's determination and his drive is what has got him where he is today.
Elijah has his whole world ahead of him. His grandma and Matt will be there to see him succeed. Nicole Segnini, WUFT News.
A bill introduced in the Florida Senate would reverse course on a tuition break for so-called dreamers.
If approved, the change could impact students at the University of Florida and other state schools. WUFT's Nicole Segnini joins us live from the newsroom with more.
This bill was introduced Wednesday by State Senator Greg Steube of Sarasota. The legislation would undo a 2014 law that had an impact on a lot of undocumented students.
A 2014 law allows certain undocumented students to pay in-state tuition rates at state universities. Some students don't know if they could afford school without that break, since out-of-state tuition is 3 or 4 times as expensive.
I would definitely not be in UF right now. I feel very grateful that that law exists so I could pay. I mean, I still have to pay out of pocket, but at least it's helping me not to pay as an international student because I've been here pretty much all my life.
Natalie's parents brought her to Florida at age 8, and she qualifies for in-state tuition because she graduated from a Florida high school after being there for at least 3 years.
A lot of people have a misconception that we're all criminals and that we're all trying to take money away from taxpayers and all that, but I work I pay taxes, and I know that thousands of other people in Florida do too.
Stubbe has told the media he met many people while campaigning this year who are against the tuition break. But people who fought for the 2014 bill say a reversal would be devastating.
I don't know if the person who has filed the bill or the supporters of the bill have really considered its impact, its real impact on the lives of these students, and also have considered the circumstances under which these students migrated to the United States.
Advocates say the undocumented students had no choice but to come to the United States.
They came here by the choice of their parents, something that they had no say in. Many of them came here at the age of 2, 3, 4 years old.
The Senate vote was 26-13 in 2014, but Stubbe believes the dynamics may have changed after Donald Trump's successful campaign for president.
As children, the undocumented students have been allowed to stay under an Obama administration program called DACA, but it's up to the states to decide the rules for in-state tuition waivers. UF President Fox joined hundreds of college presidents this week in calling for DACA to survive whatever changes on immigration President Trump can get Congress to pass. Nicole Segnini, WUFT News.